Good morning, everyone. My name is Christine Cervantes.
This is Casey, your HR body talent.
My name is Karen.
This is Hannah. I'm AJ.
If you guys don't know who I am, I'm Ken Collier.
We are here today to talk about what can virtual assistants do for you.
Working from home has been working out well.
As a business owner, we're so busy growing our company. We're building, where we don't even get a chance to step away to kind of look at our business from the outside, looking in to see where we really need to fit.
When you have someone helping you around, you just finish things on time. You save time and you save effort. Hi, good evening to everyone, and welcome here at IHR Body Talks. We're live again, and we're back in doing this live every week because we wanted to share some knowledge about digital marketing, virtual assistant, social media marketing, graphic design, and guess what? Even website development. So tonight it's kind of different. Let's say live because we're not gonna talk the usual social media, Instagram, Facebook, or digital marketing stuff. But tonight, it's going to be a bit technical because our special guest is one of our team here or members of HR Buddy, and he's one of the experts when it comes to UI UX. UI UX, I know, right? It's like, what is UI? What is UX? Well, I know them as part of the alphabet, but more than that, I don't know anything about the website part of the UI UX. So what is UI UX? So for us to know the basics, again, this is very technical, but this night we're just going to discuss the basics so that for those of you who are aspiring web designers and web developers would have an idea on some of the things that are important to learn if you want, to be in the line or in the industry of the website development. So let's all welcome Kevin Yray. Hi,
Hey
Kevin.
guys. Hi Karen. How are you?
I'm good. So Kevin is one of our experts and mentors here when it comes to UI UX. So Kevin, what is UI? What is UX? Are these two different things, or are both of them are part of a one thing?
Well, actually, before it's being considered as two separate things. Now, it's a different thing to be a UX designer, and it's also different to be a UI designer. They have their own role when it comes to project development. But nowadays, a lot of companies are considering them to be as one. So yeah, it's a challenging job.
So when you say a lot of companies are considering them as one, it means that if you are a UI designer, you have to be also a UX designer, or without a UI design, there's no UX design, or how does it go? Like
Well,
how does the two connect to each other?
Okay. Well, if you are just a UI designer, you mainly focus on just the aesthetics part of the project or the
Ah,
product.
okay.
Now, if you are a UX designer, you plan out how the journey is for each of those users who's going to use the product.
Oh, wow. You know what? This is interesting because I know nothing about website. Well, I can using Wix, just drag and drop. But now I realize, because every time that we mention you, okay, let's have a meeting with and discuss UI and UX, I really don't know anything about it. But now that you have actually made everything clear, and it's really surprising to know that. So UI is like the design, right?
Yes, that's exactly correct.
UX is like the experience that one would one's experience when you navigate the website. Is that correct?
That is
Oh,
correct.
okay,
Now,
okay, now I got it. Okay, okay.
how they combine is basically it starts with the UX, right? Now, the UI is mainly just a visual representation of the UX itself. How the UX is being designed, it's being translated into a UI, so everything goes smoothly.
Okay, okay, that's great to know. So, if for example, I am a, let's say, I want to be a website developer or a website designer, where should I start? Like, how would I teach, or how would I learn about UI and UX? Like, do you have anything that someone who aspires to be a web developer have a starting point on learning these things?
Okay. Well, it's one of the necessary background of being a UX designer is being a good web designer, because being a good web designer, you get to know and learn a lot of things about HTML, CSS, and how the whole foundation is being laid out. So that's a basic understanding for you to come up with a good user experience. Now, also, when it comes to design, it's also a good thing that you have a background about these things, because you know what to put in a single page. Let's say, for instance, if you design a home page, you definitely know where to put the header, where to put the contents or the hero image, and where does the footer goes, and so on and so forth.
Mhm.
Now, that's actually one of the things that you need knowing the HTML background of it, and also a bit of the functionality side. Let's say the programming, and which makes most of the forms work and most of the buttons work. So yeah, it's a good thing to know these background in order for you to become a very effective and efficient UX UI designer.
So that is really interesting, because for you to be an efficient UX designer, because UX is the experience, right? You
Yes,
also
that's
have to be good in designing, because for the customer or for the website visitor to have a good experience on the website, you have to know how to design it, right? You
exactly.
have to create like a design that will make the experience really amazing or wonderful, right?
Yeah,
So you need to have both. So does it mean that if you are going to be a UI, you have to know or you need to have a little background in graphic designing?
that's correct. That's also
Oh,
useful.
okay, okay. So another question is, does UI UX help in some way in SEO?
Yes, of course. Actually, part of the user experience is the SEO part. Now, when it comes to SEOs, obviously, it automatically provides you, let's say, um, the words that's being used, right? So
Hmm.
if ever you search for a word on that page itself, now it will show you related stuff along the page, right down the search results. Now these are being recorded in some reason for like AI stuff, so that the next time that you search, it will automatically show you those relevant stuff that you searched before.
Okay, okay, that's great. That's really interesting. And yeah, so anything UI UX related is also I mean, it affects the SEO, right? The keywords and search and all, basically.
Yes, yes, everything
Okay.
basically, because being a UX designer is not just about the user experience; it's also about delivering the information of how much information you need to show on a page, and what are those keywords that you need to put in that page in
Ah,
order for
okay,
your
okay,
website to, yeah, to come up.
I get it. That's great. So it's also beneficial if you have like a little background of SEO, and vice versa. If you're an SEO specialist and you have a background of UI UX.
And also the marketing side of it. Yes. So
Okay.
you put them all together in order to come up with a very good product in the end.
Okay. So what are the tools that usually a UI UX designer would use?
Now,
Or
yes, of course. Well, when it comes to tools, there's a lot of tools in the market that you can definitely use being a UX designer, because being a UX designer doesn't mean that you have to use the same application in doing your UI. So
mm,
as a UX, you mainly focus on wireframing. Now, wireframes, you can use Photoshop products like Photoshop XD, or perhaps some online products similar to Photoshop XD. Now, when it comes to UI, of course, we're going to be dealing with heavy graphics. So most of the time, you're either using Adobe AI Illustrator or the Adobe Photoshop to make things a lot better.
okay, so heavy designs. Okay,
Yes,
that's
that's
kind
right.
of, yeah. I mean, when I hear the word heavy, I get afraid. Okay, so I know that there's a lot of um young website developers, especially those who wants to play around, those who are starting and they kind of, try to build their own websites and play
Mhm.
around with it. So what would you tell them is the most important thing that they should learn when it comes to UI UX? What aspect of UI UX is really important, or let's say the foundation that will make everything work really great on a website?
Okay. Well, about that, basically you have to start as a UX, right? Now, in UX design, there are three main factors to it. So the first factor would be it must meet the user needs, right? The second would be it must be easy to use and easy to learn. The third
Mm,
factor, it must give the user full control and freedom. And there's one more that I added to it, which is actually the surprise and delight. So now let's go back to the first factor. When you say that you have to meet the user's need,
uh-huh.
let's take for example your favorite food delivery app, right? Now,
Yeah.
food app, yeah,
Grab food or
yes,
food
that's correct.
panda.
Exactly. Now, these food apps let you pick the food you like, order them, and get them delivered on time, right? And
Yes.
that's what we call the whole user journey. So that's what you need to take into consideration. So basically, what is the goal of using the app, being a user? Now, second factor, which is it must be easy to use and easy to learn. Now, as what you experience in these food applications, it's so easy to navigate. Finding the food that you want is fast, and it asks you for the right details, right? Now, even if you don't, they'll definitely show you a lot of stuff related to what you've ordered before, and some stuff that are trending now and what people mostly order. So those kind of things is
Mhm.
part of the UX experience. It gives you a lot of things based on what you want. Now, even if you never use it before, it's just as easy as using it like 100 times over. So that's
Mhm.
that's how it is. Now, the third one, it must give the user full control. So let's say on your food app, you change your mind about your order, you can do it easily. Now you can also change the food, send it to a different address, or even cancel order and
Yes.
deliver it on a later date. So those
Mhm.
are convenient things that gives you full control. These are things that you need to consider when doing when you're making a project, right, or a product. And on top of that, which is the surprise and delight, well, everyone like free stuff, right? So,
Yeah.
yeah. Now we surprise our users about getting these free vouchers, purchase discounts, and gift certificates, along with the good greetings and thank you messages in every transaction that they do. Now, having all of these, makes your user feel that they're important and well taken care of.
Mhm. So, in short, even the marketing aspect of the website is part of the UX design.
Exactly correct.
That's really interesting, and that's like a something I never thought. I never knew that it's connected. So that's great. That's great. Okay, so UI UX is also for apps, not just for websites, right?
That's correct.
Have you designed an app before?
Yes, I have designed a lot of mobile applications and also websites and web apps locally for big companies and small companies.
And it's really I think I mean I'm just guessing this. No, it's important that it's mobile friendly, right? Because
That's correct.
everything, yeah, just like when you run ads, it should be optimized on mobile if it's for mobile. Okay.
That's correct. And
So
also having a separate mobile app, let's say for Android and for iOS, they're also being designed differently. So
ah,
it's not actually the
a
same
different
as
experience for iOS and a different experience for Android.
That's correct because there are a lot of factors you need to consider in each one of them. Let's say for websites, you can actually have them as what do you call that? Automatically shown or the
Mm,
responsiveness on a mobile phone. But that doesn't
correct.
mean that the app should look the same because they work the same. They work differently. The buttons are on a different location. You have to consider that where the finger is mostly touching the screen. So those kind
Hmm.
of things a lot of things, and where the icons are being located, and how the interaction and the animation works. A lot of things actually.
That's great. That's great. Well, I'm really happy to learn a lot of these things with you, Kevin. So, what would you advise these young designers, young web developers? What would you advise to them if they want to, someday be like you, who's expert in the field and would design a lot of apps also and websites?
Well, uh, well, as you know, when you hear the word UX UI, it kind of sounds like a job that you take on a Star Trek movie, or
Yes.
or maybe maybe on those what do you call that, industrial heavy equipment thing.
Yeah, yeah.
No, but no, it's actually a fun job, right? So being a UX designer, UX UI designer is actually fun. It's a good career and very rewarding for those who are aspiring to be one. Now, what you basically need is just a solid foundation with HTML, web design, and mobile application designs. A good experience with graphic applications such as Photoshop, Illustrator, and also with Adobe XD. And
Ah.
also you might also need some experiences when it comes to animation or interaction. But
Mm.
generally, it all boils down to how you think logically, because being a UX doesn't mean that you just kind of to focus on one aspect of a project or one type of project. You deal with different project every time. So you go from accounting to let's say e-commerce to
Mhm.
banking and sort everything. So including food related products. So you have to study how the business works. You have to know what are the pain points and what are the challenges they experience on a previous system if they have one, and then you develop and innovate on the new system of how you can resolve this and make things a lot easier and a better experience for your users. So that's basically the whole idea of being a UX UI designer.
That's great. That's great. So, it's best that everyone who aspires to be a web developer or UI UX designers, you start with graphic designs, Photoshop. Try to learn as much as many tools as you can because this
Hmm.
will all be beneficial in your work. Okay,
Hmm.
thank you so much, Kevin. I'm really happy that you're here to explain these things, and I also am learning a lot from you. Thank you so
Thank
much, Kevin, and I'm looking forward to having a webinar, like a full hour webinar for UI UX. Okay,
you. Gladly.
thank you. So thank you so much everyone for joining us in our HR Body Talks. I hope that in a very short time you're able to learn this UI UX thing. It's not that technical as you expected, like what Kevin explained, and it's something that you should not be afraid of. Because I know that just like digital marketing, it's an exciting job because your responsibility is to make your customer experience great and wonderful. So thank you so much again. We'll have another talk this coming Friday and we'll surprise you with another guest for another one who's expertise in a digital marketing field. So thank you so much, everyone. See you again this Friday for another live here at iChar Buddy Talks. Bye. My name is Karen.
This is Hannah. I'm AJ.
If you guys don't know who I am, I'm Ken Collier.
Right now, what we're going to talk about, and we're here for another topic. Right now, our topic is finding the best of the best virtual assistant.
As a business owner, we're so busy growing our company. We're building, where we don't even get a chance to step away to kind of look at our business from the outside, looking in to see where we really need to fix.
We want you to hire the best. We just don't want you to just pick up someone just because you need help. Because at the end of the day, you will also do the end of the bargain.
It is very important to check out the competition. I know that you should always focus on your customers and not on your rivals, but you should also always check out the competition.
Even though you have an amazing content, if you don't engage to them, your following will really not grow.
Certain factor comes in is that you seek not just followers. Since you're engaging, you build relationships.
No matter how great you are at processing, no matter how great you are at structuring your company You could be the best dispute person, have the best credit repair letters in the world, right? But if you can't get clients in, it don't mean anything, right?
When you have someone helping you around, you just finish things on time. You save time and you save effort.